Welcome back, my dear students. How was the break? You deserve the break. I'm so happy you took a break, and here you are back to learn more about volume. Okay, in this sub-lesson we're going to talk about volume. First, let's understand the volume for cube, and then we'll learn about the volume for cuboid. Now, what is the characteristic of a cube? Now, you know that characteristic of a cube is all the sides are equal. Okay, so if Mr. Mac to draw the cube, okay, this is the cube right there. So that means this length, 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 this, all are identical. Am I right? Now, what is the formula for volume? Now, we learned from previous lesson how to find the volume of. We learned from previous lesson how to find the area. The formula for area was what? Area equals to length times breadth. Okay, now keep in mind, if it's a rectangle, we use this. Okay, if it's a rectangle, if it's a square, we know the area is length times length, because for square all the sides are equal. All right, okay, if this is square and if this is this, and we know this is a length and this is a length, so the length times length is the area. All right, if it's a rectangle, and we know the length and this is the breadth. All right, so length times breadth to find the area of a rectangle, and this is the area for the square. Now when you come to volume, the formula for the volume for cube is length and length, because this is the length and length, because they all are same, but you got to times it 3 times. Length times length times length. Now let's say, for example, if this is in centimeter, let's say this is 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, and 1 centimeter. So that means 1 centimeters times 1 centimeters times 1 centimeters. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Centimeter times centimeter times centimeters. See how many centimeters are there? 1, 2, 3. You put 3. Now remember from this one, and we know, let's say this is 1 centimeters and this is 1 centimeters. The area equals to length times length. 1 centimeters times 1 centimeters. 1 times 1 is 1. Centimeters. 1, 2, there are 2 of them. We put 2. That's for the area. For the volume, you're going to times 3 times. See that? Actually, what it is you're finding the surface area right there, and then you're timesing it with the height. So that is the volume. Okay? So pretty much the volume equals to the surface area. So in other words, the bottom surface area times the height. That's what the volume is. Okay? If I had to give you the surface area of the bottom and then the height, I also can find the volume of the cube. Alright? So keep in mind. Or in other words, if I give you the length of this and the length of that and the length of that. And that is another way of finding the volume. Length times length times length. Or the surface area, the bottom surface area times the height. Okay, so keep in mind for cube. So we're talking about for cube. Alright, so let Mr. Mac erase the board. Let's talk about cuboid, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. And for cuboid, okay, let's say for cuboid, okay, for cuboid, first let's understand rectangle. Alright, so let's understand rectangle. And we know that for rectangle, the opposite sides are equal. Alright? And what is the area for rectangle? This is the breadth and this is the length. Length times breadth. Let's say if I told you the length is 6 centimeters, the breadth is 4 centimeters. So what would be the area? The area will be the length, which is 6 centimeters, times 4 centimeters. 6 times 4 is 24 centimeter. Centimeter times centimeter is centimeter squared. You got 2 centimeters, you put 2 on the top. Like that, small 2 above the M. Alright, very important. Okay, that's a 24 centimeters squared. That's the area. Now, if I to put this as a bottom, I make it like this. See that? And then I raise it up. with the height. See what happens? It becomes like an aquarium. See that? The aquarium looks like that, isn't it? Alright? So this is what we call cuboid. Alright? So that means if this is the one right there, the base, which is the, and what was this one? That's the breadth, and this is the length, and this is the height. So the volume, so the moment I put a height, see, it's a form a cuboid with the base has the area, length times breadth, see this is the area, alright, and then I put a height to it. It forms into a cuboid. So that's what volume is. Volume equals to length times breadth times height. So in other words, you know that length times breadth is what? Length times breadth is area. If I know the surface area, the bottom surface area, okay? So surface area, and then I times with the height, also will give me volume. Okay, again, this is the bottom, alright? So the bottom surface area. And then times with the height will give me the volume. See that? Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Okay, so let's say for example, we already know this one is, let's say, 6 centimeters, and this one is 4 centimeters, and now I gave you the height is 2 centimeters. And I want to find the volume of this cuboid. So, what is the length? The length is 6 centimeters. And what is the breadth? The breadth is 4 centimeters. And what is the height? 2 centimeters. So we're using pairing method. 6 times 4 is 24, which we already found it. 24 centimeters squared, because only timesing with that. Now we're timesing with the 2 centimeters. 24 times 2, let's use the long multiplication method. 24 times 2, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 2 is 4. So give me 48 centimeters squared times centimeters. That means centimeter cube. See that? Because 1, 2, 3 centimeters. Volume is always cube. Keep in mind, very important. Area is squared, volume is cube. Length, you just put centimeter. So in other words, to measure length, you just use the word centimeter or meter or kilometer. When you're measuring an area, centimeter squared, kilometer squared, meter squared. See the word squared? Alright? For volume, centimeter cube, meter cube, kilometer cube. See that cube? Alright? So the word cube. Alright? That's what right there. Very important. Okay? So now you understood. To find the volume for cuboid is length times breadth times height. Length times breadth times height. Okay? So, and then of course for a cube, when it's a cube, all the length are same. It's pretty much the same thing. It is the breadth and the length and the height. See that, which is what? Length, 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 because they all are same. And that's why the volume is length times length times length for cube. Alright? For cube. Okay? And again the same thing too. For cube, and you know that area, they all are same. So the length times length, and that's the area. Okay? Length times length, which is, let's say if this one is a 2 centimeters, and this is also the 2 centimeters. That means it become 4 centimeters squared. And if I have to find the volume, I take this and I put it as a bottom surface and then put a height to it. And it has to be what? Also 2 centimeters, because cube all the, okay, keep in mind all the sides are equal. So now I got 2. So you got 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters. Okay, so we know the volume equals to length times length times length. Length times length times length. See that? So 2 centimeters times 2 centimeters times 2 centimeters. 2 times 2 is 4 centimeters squared, and then times another 2 centimeters. 4 times 2 is 8 centimeters cube, because we are finding volume. 8 centimeters cube. Okay, for a cube. For cuboid, this is how you do it. Alright? Okay, let Mr. Mac erase the board. Let's do more, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, let's say for example, Mr. Mac to give you a cuboid. Alright? And I told you this one is 8.5 centimeters, and this one is 4 centimeters, and this one is 3 centimeters. and ask you to find the volume of this cuboid, okay? So I ask you to find the volume of this cuboid. So first, you need to know the formula for the volume. What's the formula for the volume is? Very good. Good job. The volume equals to length times breadth times height. Now this is the area, the bottom area, alright? So pretty much this is right there. You're finding the area of this first, and then you're timesing it with the height. And that's your breadth and that's your length. So you know the length is 8.5 centimeters, and you're multiplying that with the 4 centimeters, and then you're multiplying the height with 3 centimeters. Very important, okay? Length, breadth and height. And we're using the pairing method, okay? We're going to multiply this and then we'll multiply with that. Okay, so we're going to use the pairing method, alright? So we're going to 8.5 times 4 first. Now keep in mind, you're multiplying with a decimal. Remember from our decimal. Forget now, remember later method, okay? When you multiply, alright? So we're going to pretend like there's no decimal. We're just going to put 85 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And then carry the 2. 4 times 8 is 32 plus 2 is 34. Okay? Now we're going to remember back the decimal. How many numbers behind the decimal? Only 1. Okay? There's only one number. There's no decimal for this one. There's only 1. So I put it back. Bring it back and put 1 right there. So it's 34. Okay? So that gives me 34 centimeters squared times 3 centimeters. Now I'm going to line them up again. Multiply 34 with 3. Okay? 34 times 3. Okay? So 3 times 4 is 12, 2 carry 1, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So that gives me 102 centimeter cube. Exactly, 102 centimeter cube. Alright? So it's very important to understand this. Alright? So the surface area times the height. We found the surface area first, the bottom surface area, which is that, and then we times with the height, gave us 102 centimeter cube. Alright, so now let's say, for example, I give you another problem. Let's say I gave you, okay, I told you a cuboid. And I told you the height is 6 meters. And I told you the area, the bottom surface area, okay, equals to, let's say, 64 meters squared. Find the volume. And you know that volume is also equals to the bottom surface area, okay, times the height. Okay, and you know that bottom area is what? 64. So you're given 64 meter squared, and you're multiplying the height with 6 meter. See that? So you're given this. So you don't have to know the length and the breadth. Okay, because I already given you in a form of area. So that way you don't have to times it out like this and then get the area first and then times it with the height. So it's already given, okay? So now we are timesing 64 meters squared with 6 meter, the height. Alright, so let's line it up. So we take 64 times with 6. 6 times 4 is 24, so 4 carry the 2, 6 times 6 is 36, plus 2 is 38. So that gives you 384 meter cube. See that? Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Okay, so I want you to understand both ways. If I give you the length, the breadth and the height, how to find the volume. If I give you the area, the bottom surface area and the height, and you should be able to find the volume. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Okay, good. Well, this should prepare you for what? Hands-on practice. Okay, well, let's do some hands-on practice, and I'll be back within a few seconds, and then we'll call Pablo out and we'll do some hands-on practice. I'll see you in a few seconds. Hello my dear students, are you ready for some hands-on practice? Alright, let's call Pablo out, alright? Okay, let's see what he's doing. He is ready. He's been busy doing some hands-on practice worksheet. Let's call him, alright? Pablo, come on over. Bring the worksheet with you. Come on over, Pablo. Come on over. Yes. Alright, my dear students, Pablo's going to hand over the worksheet to you. And have fun with it, alright? Once you're done, invite Mr. Mack in, alright? Now be sure to remember to pause the video and then have fun with it. Here it is, have fun. Alright. Oh, good. Alright, let's do it together, okay? So the first question, the first one says, find the volume of the cube below. The moment the word cube comes, what should come to your mind? Exactly. All the length are same. Alright? Okay, so we're given the cube. So, problem 1. So you're given a cube and ask you to find the volume of that cube. Okay? So you're given one length, which is 6 centimeters. How are we going to find with just one length? But don't we need 3 lengths to find a volume? Well, this is a cube, alright? That means if this is 6 centimeters, this is going to be 6 centimeters, and this is going to be 6 centimeters. Pretty much like the length, the breadth, and the height, alright? Okay, so the volume equals to length times length times length for cube. Okay, pretty much like I said, there's length, breadth, and the height, or the breadth, length, or height. See that? So that's the key thing. So in this case, you know the length is 6 centimeters times with 6 centimeters times with 6 centimeters. Alright, so keep in mind again, for cube, all you need to know is just one length. And because all the length are same, okay, identical, so 6 times 6 times 6, centimeter, 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 and we use a pairing method, okay? So 6 times 6 is 36 centimeter, centimeter, centimeter squared times 6 centimeter. Alright, so pretty much we found the surface, the bottom surface area first. 6 times 6, 36 centimeters squared. Now we're going to times it with the height, 6 centimeter. Alright, so we're going to line it up. 36 times 6, 6 times 6 is 36, 6 times, then put a 6, carry 3, 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. So that gives you 216 centimeter cube. Because when you multiply 3 times, you put 3. For volume is cube. Alright? Okay? For area is squared. Right? Just like right there, we found the bottom surface area, which is 36 centimeters squared. And then we times it with the height, which is 6 centimeter, which gives you 216 centimeter cube. Okay, good. Let's do problem number 2. Problem number 2 says, find the volume of the cuboid. Cuboid, okay, below. Alright, so we are given a diagram of a cuboid, and then they gave you the measurement of all the length, the breadth, and the height. So you're given the length is 15 centimeters, the breadth is 6 centimeters, and the height is 8 centimeters. So what is the formula for volume of a cuboid? So volume equals to length times breadth times height. Okay, length times breadth times height. The length is 15 centimeters and the breadth is 6 centimeters and the height is 8 centimeters. Okay, so we're going to use the pairing method. Okay, so we're going to use the pairing method to multiply. We're going to times 15 with 6 first. Okay, so let's do 15 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. I put 0, carry 3. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So that gives me 90 centimeters squared. And then I'm going to multiply that with 8 centimeters. Alright? Because this one I just said I'm only multiplying twice. That's why I put 2. Now I'm going to times it with another centimeters. That will give me cube. But look at that, 90 times 8. Big numbers. So we're going to use the long multiplication method. 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 9 is 72, okay? So that gives me 720 centimeter cube. Alright, very important, 720 centimeter cube, and that's the volume of the cuboid. Alright, okay, good. And let's Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do problem number 3, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, you ready for problem number 3? Alright, find the volume of water in the aquarium below. Alright, so you're given an aquarium which is shape of a cuboid. Alright, so, and this is the aquarium right there. Alright, let Mr. Mac draw that. And then you're told the water level is right there. Okay, the water level is right there. And you're given this height, this length, which is 4 meters, and then you're given the overall height is 10 meters. Okay, and then you're given the breadth, which is 12 meters, and the length is 24 meters. Alright, so you've been asked to find the volume of water inside the aquarium. Okay, so this is the volume right there. In order to find the volume, what you needed? Okay, what's the formula for volume? Volume equals to length times breadth times height. Okay, let's see, we have all those three on our length. The length is 24 meters. Alright, we got that, 24 meters. What about the breadth? Breadth is 12 meters. Alright, we got that, 12 meters. And what about height? Height is, where's the water level is? Right there. The water level is right there. Okay, so we need this one. It's not given, but can we find it? Yes, because you're told this is 4, and the overall height of the aquarium is what? 10 meters. Can I find this? That means 10 minus 4, which is 6 meters. See that? The height is 6 meters. That's it. Now you just plug it in right here. For height is 6 meters. And rest of it is what? Just multiply, arithmetic, okay? So we're going to times 24 meters with 12 meters. So we're going to line it up. So 24 times 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to times 1. Now I'm going to start right here. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. Then I add them. 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. 2. So that gives me 288 meters squared, and I'm going to multiply that with 6 meters. Okay, so I take 288 and I'm going to multiply that with 6, line it up. Okay, 6 times 8 is 40. Good job, 48. Okay, so 8 and then 4. 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, good. Plus 4, 52. So 2 carry 5. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. Alright, so that gives me 1728 meter cube. And that's the volume of the water inside the aquarium. Okay, now very important. Now the question says you want the volume of the water, not the volume of the aquarium. All right, because you're given 10 meters as the height of the aquarium, and they kind of told you from the top over here right there is 4 meters. So you got to find the height of the water level in that aquarium, and use that height as a way of finding your volume for the water inside the aquarium. So it's very important. Okay, pay attention to that one. All right. Okay, let Mr. Mike erase the board. So we'll do problem number, this was problem number 3, and then we'll do problem number 4. And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear student, problem number 4. You're given bottom surface area. Bottom surface area of a container is 24.5 meter cube. The height is 4.3 meter. What is the volume of the container? Okay, so in other words, pretty much number 4, you're given they didn't give you the diagram, they just gave you kind of a word problem, but they kind of told you, okay, the bottom area, okay, the bottom surface area. And what was the bottom surface area is? 24.5 meter squared, okay, 24.5 meter squared. And also you're given the height. The height of the container is 4.3 meters. And they want to find the volume, alright? So the volume equals to, now in this case, you're given the area, the bottom area. So which means length times breadth times height. But you know the length times breadth is what? The area. See that? Which is the bottom area. Okay? So times the height. So which we already know the area is what? 24.5. So I can substitute that with 24.5 meters squared, and the height is 4.3 meters. 4.3 meters. See that? So we can multiply. We got 2 decimals we are multiplying. So what method we're going to use? Forget now, remember later. Okay, so we're going to forget the decimal. So we got 245. We're going to multiply that with 43. Alright, so we're going to forget the decimal right now, and then we're going to remember back the decimal. Alright, keep in mind, forget now, remember later method. Okay, so 3 times 5 is 15, 5 carry 1, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, carry 1, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Alright, now I'm going to multiply with 4. I got to start straight down, very important. 4 times 5 is 20. I'm going to put 0, carry 2. Okay, 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. 8, carry 1, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now I'm going to add them. Alright, 5, 3 plus 0 is 3, 7 plus 8 is 15. 5, carry 1, 1 plus 9 is 10. Okay, now we're going to remember the decimal back. Okay, so how many numbers are there behind the decimal? 1, 2. So there are 2 numbers. So 1, 2, put the decimal right there. So 1, 2, put the decimal right there. Okay, so very important, you bring the decimal back because you're using the forget now, remember later method. So once I move that, put the decimal back, because how do I know 2? Because there are 2 digits behind the decimal. So 1, 2. So 1, 2, I put the decimal right there. Okay, so now remember, meter squared and meter, you're multiplying meter squared with meter, will give you meter cube, because you're finding the volume. So the answer should be 105.35 meter cube. Very important, cube. Alright, and that's the answer for problem number 4. Alright, let's do problem number 5. Okay, problem number 5 says measurements for container A and container B is given below. Okay, so there's 2 container A and container B is given, and then you've been told that container A is filled with water. Alright, container A is filled with water. If Ali empties container A into container B, what would be the water level in container B? Alright, so let's do that. Let's draw the containers. Alright, so problem number 5. So you're given container A, okay, which is a cuboid. Alright, container A, and then it's filled with water. Right, and you're given the measurement is 4 meters breadth, 9 meters length, and 4 meters height. Alright, and then you're given container B, which is bigger container. Alright, okay, so you're filling up the bigger container with the smaller container's water. Alright, so you're given this is 6 meters breadth, 12 meters long, and 5 meters height. Alright, so we're going to fill up the water that's inside this smaller container into the bigger one. What happens when you fill up a smaller amount of water inside a bigger container? It's going to cover the bottom part, and it's going to go up and then stop somewhere. So this is the and that's why right there, stop somewhere, and then it says what would be the water level in container B. So remember, this is container B and this is container A. Okay, so we want to find out the height when the water has been filled inside that big container, and what would be height of that. Alright, so first what we want to do, we want to find the volume. Now remember, the volume of this should be equal to the volume of this. Am I right? Only the level right there with the H level. Alright, because it's not going to fill up this big container, but it's going to fill up to some level. That's what we want to find out. What would be the height when I pour this into the big container? Alright, so let's find the volume. So volume equals to length times breadth times height. And we know the length is 9 meters, the breadth is 4 meters, and the height is 4 meters. See that? So we're going to use a pairing method. Alright, so then we're going to multiply 9 times 4 is 36 meters squared times with 4 meters. So 36 times 4, so 36 times 4, 4 times 6 is 24, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. Okay, so that gives me 144 meter cube. So we know the volume of this, which is going to be equal to this volume right there. Alright, okay, so now let's put the formula as though this is the one we're looking for. like that, right? Not the one right there. Okay, so the volume equals to length times breadth times height. We know the breadth and the length, but height is the one we don't know. But we also know the volume right there from here. See that? So we're going to take the 144, put into that volume. 144 meter cube equals to, the length is 12 meter and the breadth is 6 meter, but we don't know the height because that's what we're looking for. So in order to find height, I have to times this one out and then cross the bridge. Alright, let's do that. 12 times 6 is what? Alright, okay, so we're going to times it. 12 meters with 6 meters. So 12 times 6 is 72. Okay, 72 meters squared times height. But we're looking for h. Who got to go? 72 meters height, 72 meters squared. Alright, so what is 72 meters squared doing to height? It's multiplying. Cross the bridge will becomes division. So it becomes 144 meter cube divided by 72 meters squared will give me the height. Alright, so we're going to use the long division method. Alright, so let's use the cage approach. So 144 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage 144, and 72 is kind of out from Mr. Mac. I'm going to put outside the cage. Now look at that, 72 and 144. So 1 I cannot, 14 I cannot, 144. So how many times do you think 72 can fit into 144? How about 2? 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 7 is 14. There we go. Minus, give me 0. That means 2 meter is the height. See that? Length, you measure the length with the meter. Meter cube, it's for volume. Meter squared for the area. Alright, see that? Meter cube divided by meter squared gives you meter. Keep in mind. Alright, pretty much is like this: meter times meter times meter over meter times meter, because it's dividing. See that? Cancel, cancel. Left is what? Meter. See that? 2 meters is the height. So the height is 2 meters. So when Ali emptied this smaller container of water into this big container, it filled it up to 2 meters height. Alright? Is that pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. So understanding the problem and able to solve it, that's what it's all about. Okay? The bottom line, the principle is what? The volume. The volume equals to length times breadth times height. Understanding, and then how to use it, manipulate those formula, okay, and able to come up with a solution is very important. Alright, my dear students, that's the end of the hands-on practice. That tells you what it's time for quiz. And also this is the end of your lesson and the end of the syllabus. Oh, wow, you completed this whole thing with Mr. Mac. I'm so proud of you. Wow, that's a long journey. Oh, Mr. Mac's going to miss you a lot. But I'm going to see you in Form 2. Alright? Be sure to come and see Mr. Mac in Form 2. I'll be here waiting for you. You mean a lot to you. It's a long journey. We created a bond, a relationship as a teacher, student, and here you've been a very good student to Mr. Mac. And I'm so proud of you. You worked hard. You really did, and you are the best. And you know you deserve the best, and that's why Mr. Mac always brought the best for you. And it came from the best. And that's what I'm going to do for you on Form 2 as well. Alright? And I'll be here, and I'm looking forward to work with you on Form 2 as well. It's going to be so much exciting. Alright? So have fun, do well in your exams, do well in life, do well in everything. And have a nice break. And then come back next year for Form 2. Wow, you're going to be Form 2. You should be so proud of yourself. Come back and we'll learn together more. Alright? Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Take care.